Hey everyone, welcome back to Diaries of a 20-something. I'm Paige Marquez, your host. I'm just gonna address this right now. If it's really echoey, I apologize. I finally found an apartment, which is super exciting, but I have no furniture. So all the noise just bounces around. And today I'm doing an episode just like a mental health checkpoint. I think they're important to do. I'm going to try and start doing them every couple months. And I know I think we're on episode 14 now, which is just crazy. Regularly addressing and checking up on your mental health is so important, especially when there's a lot of change going on in your life. Recently with me, I've been having loads of change. I haven't really had time to check up on myself and really just sit down and make sure that I'm feeling good. I feel like when you go through a big change and you're just really busy, it can be really easy to put your mental health in the back seat, when in reality, it should always be a passenger in the front seat. I've recently noticed that my mental health has been slipping a little bit. If you know me well, you know that I've been kind of a mess the last 2 weeks. And it makes a lot of sense because I haven't really had any time to dedicate towards self-care and just making sure that I feel good. Mental health in your 20s is so important. And no matter what you're going through in your life, it's always going to be a big part of you. Whether you want to ignore it or not, it's always going to be something that's important. I know a lot of people like to not think about mental health and be like excuses, whatever. But mental health is important. It's how you feel. It's how you react. It's how you think about things. It's easily ignored, but it shouldn't be. So stay tuned. So a mental health checkpoint, I think, is just something that you do for yourself and really evaluate how you've been feeling, why you've been feeling it, and what you can do to come out of it, whether you're fine or not. Ignoring your mental health can often lead to things like burnout or overall anxiety, irritability even. Your overall well-being can be so affected by ignoring your mental health and just not prioritizing it. I would say generally, if you are feeling really irritable and if you are having a lot of anxiety and just feeling overwhelmed, or if you're sad or overly exhausted, it's probably time for a mental health checkpoint, just to be able to sit down with yourself and really understand why you're feeling those things. And I'm not a therapist or anything, but I am very into psychology and the signs that I just mentioned, being sad or tired or irritable or whatever, these things can often be very subtle and you may not notice it slowly happening until it gets to a point where it is so bad. For me, the last couple months, I've been a little irritable, I've been a little tired, I've been whatever, a little overwhelmed. But in the last 2 weeks especially, those feelings have been exacerbated to such a point, and I wasn't checking up on myself in the last couple months. I've just been ignoring it, and now it's all falling apart. It's kind of funny actually, all aspects of my life right now are really going well, but mentally I'm just not as healthy as I could be. Doing these mental health checkpoints often can actually lead to a lot of positive things. You'll get to know yourself better, and I feel you can overall just improve your emotional regulation. You can manage your stress better, and I think just your overall well-being will be improved. With mental health checkpoints, self-reflection is, I think, the biggest part about it, because if you're not able to identify even how your actions are influenced by your emotions, the ones that you've been making, whether good or horrible, can really help you get to the root of the problem. I feel a lot of times with mental health, we'll just put a band-aid over the outcome rather than really looking in and around for the root cause of these problems. I know for me, journaling has never been for me. Honestly, I used to have a journal and write in it a little bit every single day, just how I was feeling that day. I read through it halfway through the journal and so embarrassed. I was why am I feeling like this? This is really cringy and embarrassing. So I just stopped journaling. I can't really journal. A talk about it with my friends kind of girl. Still self-reflect on yourself, and that can even be just taking time to just think. You just have to sit back and ask yourself how you're feeling emotionally, physically, mentally. What's been stressing me out recently? Have I been avoiding things? I say things, I mean emotional thoughts or feelings. Am I taking care of myself? fitness, nutrition, just general self-love. I feel like the biggest thing about mental health checkpoints and just like being aware of your own mental health struggles or challenges, like if your answer to those questions are like not good, then it's probably time for a mental health checkpoint and or see a therapist and or talk with your friends, open up, figure out why you're feeling it. Just do a little self-exploration. Self-exploration can go such a long way. I would say it's time to seek professional help when talking with your friends and family or just like people that are close to you can't help you or don't know how to help you. I would say then it's time to go to therapy. And I hate therapy. I am a chronic therapy quitter. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I think therapy is great for a lot of people. I think it's even great for me. It's just so hard for me to stay consistent with it. Oftentimes I'll like go to therapy for like 2 or 3 sessions, then I'll just quit on it. Sometimes I just want to rant. Sometimes I just want to be annoying and complain. And like, I don't really want solutions thrown at me. I feel like talking about it goes such a long way. And sometimes I just want to talk about it. So therapy can often get on my nerves and often turns into something that I just don't enjoy doing. Like even like maintaining and creating mental well-being, I feel like your routine has a big part of it. Like for me, I'm big on routine, and when my routine is thrown off, my mental health always declines. And I think that is part of why I've been feeling the way that I'm feeling, because this last month I haven't really had a routine. I moved to a different state. I didn't have a place. I wasn't having any time to focus on myself between like commuting, the podcast, and work. So it was very hard for me to keep a routine and keep myself a little bit sane, because like I need a lot of order. You just have to like set yourself up with healthy outlets and things that you do for yourself every day, whether it's cooking, whether it's exercise, whether it's just like getting a good night's sleep. And that's another thing, like sleep schedules. Make sure you're at least on a consistent one. I mean, recently I have not been on a consistent sleep schedule at all. Sometimes I go to bed at 4 and sometimes I'm out by 7 o'clock. I never know, but that's the thing. Like, it's all about just like regulating what you're doing for yourself throughout the day and just as a whole. And even like hobbies, like find things that you enjoy, whether it be like coloring book or I don't know, for me, like I'm like really into makeup. So sometimes I'll just like do my makeup. I like creative things. I have a couple adult coloring books, like editing, like just like find like hobbies that you enjoy. Going on a walk. I now live in a walking city. I walk like 10,000 steps a day. And a lot of that walking is me just going out and, stopping at a smoothie place and just walking around all day, whether it be like running errands or just plain exploring the new place that I live. I just love it here so much. And I think when it comes to social connections and like staying connected, it has been a little bit difficult for me just because, I moved, I'm busy, I'm getting back into the routine. I have not been talking to my family as much as I had originally planned to. And it's not anything personal. It's just like I'm trying to figure out what my routine looks like, what my day-to-day is going to look like. And sometimes it slips my mind to call the people that I love so much, like my dad, my sister. I talk to my sister a lot, I will say, but like there was like a couple days ago where we didn't talk at all, and I was like, this is weird. Like my best friend Elizabeth, I mean, it's like I talked about that a little bit in the last episode, and I just like haven't been talking to her as much as I want to, and it's not personal, it's just life. It's like prioritize the relationships and the friendships that are actually benefiting you. It's so easy to get trapped in a toxic cycle with a friend or a man or whatever. And the emotional toll that can take on your body is literally so massive. And I'm going to get more into that in the next episode. You have to just be able to prioritize the connections that make you feel good. I think boundaries are really important too, whether it be work, social life, social media, like with literally everything. I think with me, I haven't even really been on social media that much recently, which I kind of like now. Like it's right when I wake up and right before I go to bed, I just scroll, check my socials. I post often throughout the day, but I'm not on it throughout the day. Does that make sense? I think it's really important to limit how much time you're spending on social media, as well as like if you don't want to do something, just say no. You don't have to say yes. Like I recently did something with a friend of mine that I didn't want to do. And like, I did it because she wanted me to go, and I was like happy to go with her and like, you know, be a part of it with her. But at the same time, like, I didn't want to go, and like, I didn't really want to be there necessarily, but I did it for her. But like, I struggle with that too. Like, you can say no. You can say no, that doesn't really sound like something that would be good for me. That doesn't sound like something that I would actually want to do. Wasn't that big of a deal, guys. It was just a double date. I feel like you guys are probably gonna like make your own conclusions on what it was, and like the way I'm framing it just seems like it would be worse than it is. It was literally just a double date. I just didn't want to go. Or like with the work even, you know, like set boundaries with work. Don't let work take over your life. But you know, it's also obviously like self-care. Self-care is so important, and it's such a general term, but when I think of self-care, I think of self-love, like doing things that help me fall in love with myself, whether it be like doing like a loaded skincare routine, you know, like getting my nails done. Like for me, like when it comes to like self-care and self-love and like doing things that make me fall in love with myself, it always has to do with like some kind of pampering. I just love like getting ready for the day. I love shopping. I love thrifting. I love doing makeup. I like just everything like that. I love cleaning. I just enjoy the act of cleaning. I think it's something that always kind of helps me ground myself, I think. Like whenever I'm really stressed out, I clean and I feel better. It's just like recognizing when that self-care is needed and then doing it. But I think if you do a little bit every day, I'm not saying like blow your bank account every day and like go shopping, but like set that extra time up in the morning for you to not be rushing and like have fun picking out your outfit, have fun like doing your makeup. Like I literally don't work for 2 more hours, but I wanted to do this podcast episode, but I got ready really early this morning and I've just been enjoying myself. You know, I ate a nice breakfast. I've had like music going all day. It's just been like a very relaxing morning. And I feel like self-care like that is such a big part of my life. And I just love that kind of self-care. And when you feel that it's needed, do it, but also do a little bit of it every day, you know? So then like, it's kind of like microdosing, I guess. But yeah, just overall, it's just like really important to stay in tune with our mental health and stay in tune with ourselves and how we can help ourselves and when we decide that we need to help ourselves. And I think that once you figure out and listen to your body and listen to your mind, a lot of things like that become easier to do because it becomes more of like a second nature thing and like nipping it in the butt in the beginning rather than letting it slowly trickle and then just like shoot down. Like I'm going to start doing these episodes like every like 2 or 3 months, I think. And I think it's important that you guys do a mental health checkpoint as well, probably like every 2-3 months. Just like make sure that you're feeling good. Really make sure. Literally sit down, turn your phone on DND and just sit and think for like an hour. And if anything is bothering you on your mind, then you probably need a mental health checkpoint. And obviously, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out to a professional if you need to. Like, there's no shame in that. The world that we're living in is crazy. And I feel like the influences that are on us, especially in our 20s, and how much those influences affect us on a day-to-day basis. I mean, our entire world is online. You know, we grew up with social media, and I feel like there are benefits to that, but there is also a cost. And I think the cost is often mental health. So yeah, stay tuned for next week. Next week, I'm going to do an episode all about dating in the post-grad world because I have been going on a lot of first dates, literally just for fun. And I've learned a lot. So I'm going to do an episode on dating and how that changes and everything next week. So that one's going to be fun. Like, share, and subscribe. And this was Diaries of a 20-something, episode 14, I think. And I will see you guys next Friday.